My name's Toby Davies. You may know me on Instagram as Edward Edition, and I'm a photographer from Northern California. First started with photography in a serious way maybe 6-7 years ago, and I was just shooting on holidays, things like that, like most people do, and getting more into Instagram and seeing all the other great photographers who are posting things. That's when I started to take more of an interest in doing it as a hobby, and I guess it just grew gradually from there up until now, really. I try and take quite a broad stroke approach to photography and not get stuck in one particular direction or one particular lane. I think it's really easy to do that here because there's so much variety. You can shoot in the city or at the beach or in the forests around here or in the mountains. So it really lends itself to trying to be as versatile a photographer as you can. And I would definitely encourage all photographers to try and be as versatile as possible. I've definitely made the mistake of being stuck doing one particular thing, and it can be really sapping in terms of creative energy, and often being able to mix it up a little bit for me keeps me interested. I try and avoid getting stuck just doing one thing or being a landscape photographer or a street photographer, and keep versatile. Light has always been a big part of my photography, even going back to when I was shooting digital. The light and shadow and golden hour, or shooting very early in the morning, that's always been something I've really enjoyed and something which I think has been a big part of my work. I think more recently, living in California, it's probably changed a little bit. It's hard for me to define my style, but I tend to approach things with a pretty naturalistic sense, and I try and capture what I see in the moment. And I try and represent the area where I live as best I can. Staged things don't really appeal to me. I'm just trying to represent what my eye sees when it happens. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I think that would be a theme running through my work. Chance moments, chance encounters, and just typically California. I definitely follow a lot of the big YouTubers and the big Instagrammers, people like Dino Kuznick, and they've definitely been a big part of my inspiration to take up film and the short sort of film that I tend to shoot. But I also take a lot of inspiration from people who are like me, who are doing photography in their spare time, in between their day job. That is much more relatable, and those people that I'm interacting with on a day-to-day basis, and we're sharing ideas and tips, they've definitely been the people that have helped me improve as a photographer. I think going forward, that will be where I invest most of my time, within that community. So my two cameras are a Canon F-1N with a 28mm lens and a Mamiya RB67 with a 90mm lens. They're the two cameras that I pretty much use all the time, and they serve me well. They're two different focal lengths, and having the opportunity to change between 35mm and medium format is great, and I love being able to have that sort of variety. I still love 35mm. I think most of my best photographs were 35mm. I'm still kind of getting to grips with medium format. In terms of film, I'm generally shooting Portra 400, just like pretty much everybody else, but I try and mix it up every now and again and shoot a few different film stocks. Portra 800, Lomo 400 is a favorite of mine as well, a bit of Ektar 100 too. So I like to try the film stocks. I generally end up coming back to Portra 400 because it just suits my work. I know how it responds to how I tend to shoot, and there's not so much that I don't know about it. But I don't like to get stuck with just doing one thing. It's always good to try things because you never know, you might find something that really works for you. But Portra 400 is what I'm doing 80% of my work on at the moment. I switched to film because I hit a creative rut with digital, and I tried different things with digital and I just stopped shooting for a long time, and coming off the back of that, film was something that was starting to kind of pique my interest a little. And knowing that I was moving here, it just seemed like a convenient time to totally start afresh and try something new. So I sold all my digital equipment. I started slowly, I didn't jump in straight away. It took time to kind of get used to a new medium and get used to having to shoot lots of rolls of film, which is expensive. I just find that I place a higher value on my work now it's film than I did when it was digital. I think that's partly because of the cost of buying the film and developing the film. It's expensive, but also it's the uncertainty and that element of not quite knowing how a particular shot's turned out, perhaps for weeks afterwards, and that anticipation that kind of grows while you're waiting to find out if something you've taken weeks ago has actually come out. That, for me, gives me something digital didn't, and maybe I'll shoot digital again in the future. I don't know. At the moment, I'm very happy with film. There's something very rewarding about getting negatives back in a physical form and being able to look at them and see what you've done kind of in print. We'd definitely like to travel more. I hope that maybe next year traveling will become more possible. At the moment it's a little difficult. So traveling and seeing more of this country is high up on my list. But there's still things in the Bay Area that I haven't photographed yet. I'm always looking for that right evening or the right morning with the fog and the Golden Gate Bridge. I never seem to be able to marry up the two. So those are kind of things that I always look forward to. Most of my work is on my Instagram, which is @edgewood.edition, and through that you'll find a link to my print shop. Awesome, perfect.